Newly inaugurated President Donald Trump attended the National Prayer Service. Now, normally this is something that people don't know about, people don't care about. It's a pro forma thing where you go, you show up, you sit for the service, and you leave. And it probably would have gone unnoticed, except that Donald Trump, while there, or after he left there, I should say, gave a really strange commentary about it. Watch this. Just watch this.
Mr. President, what did you think of the sermon? What did you think of the sermon? What did you think of the
What did you think of the service?
What did you think? Did you find it exciting? Not too exciting, was it? I did think it was a good service. No. Thank you very much.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
They could do much better.
Now,
Thank you, press.
because he is a supervillain, it didn't shock me that he would say they could have done much better at the prayer service. That shit is wild, right? Like, I didn't even know something you could say.
There probably weren't enough gold toilets. It was a problem.
But man was like, he said he wasn't very fun and exciting, was it? The exact quote was from C-SPAN, not too exciting, was it? I didn't think it was a good service. No, they can do much better. And so I was like, okay, even for Donald Trump, that's a lot, right? Like, that's a lot. But then I figured out, so they got me digging, because again, I didn't care. But then I did some digging. And I found out why Donald Trump was not so happy. Well, turns out the homily or the sermon by Bishop Marianne Edgar Budd got Donald Trump, it appears, a little, how can I put it, frustrado. You know, he wasn't very happy with what they said. Check this out.
Let me make one final plea, Mr. President.
And you got to watch the Donald while this is
Millions have
happening.
put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God.
It's questionable.
In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people.
Look at everybody behind him.
Oh, yeah.
Who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families.
Look at JD Vance. He already looked at his
I was going to say his eyeliner's starting to run.
And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat packing plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals.
Look at your face.
He's like,
may not be citizens
Snooze.
or have the proper documentation. But the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals.
Look at his son behind him.
They pay taxes and are
he's
good
like, there are
neighbors.
poor people?
They
What?
are faithful members of our churches and mosques,
Oh, God.
synagogues, wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger, for we were all once strangers in this land.
Woo.
Boring if you're
May
Trump.
God grant us the strength and courage
Right.
to honor the dignity of every human being, to speak the truth to one another in love,
Snooze.
and walk humbly with each other and our God for the good of all people in this nation and the world. Amen.
Well,
Good for the bishop. I mean,
look at their faces. Look at the look they gave each other. Now he's talking shit. Terrible. Worst. This is the worst thing I've ever seen.
Did you hear this, poor? Did you hear what she
Right.
was saying?
So I want y'all, now that you heard the what Donald Trump was responding to, again, he leaves the sermon, and again, here's what he said.
Mr. President, what did you think of the sermon? What did you think of the sermon? What did you think of the
What did you think of the service?
What did you think? Did you like it? Did you find it exciting? Not too exciting, was it? I did think it was a good service. Thank you very much.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
They could do much better.
They could
Thank you,
do
press.
much better.
Inside. Thank you.
You know what, Mark? Have you seen? There's a young girl on TikTok who does Trump quotes, and she acts like she's like a 12-year-old girl, and she's like, but she does them all like, oh my God, it's just that's everything I hear from it. It could have been much better because I wasn't happy, and I don't want to sit in this boring church.
It's a disaster.
About whores.
It's amazing, right? First of all, shout out to the bishop for, I think, giving I thought a beautiful message. I mean, if you're going to do this religion thing, if you're going to do God talk, this is how you do it, right? You talk about justice, you talk about love, you talk about care, you talk about welcoming the stranger, you talk about mercy. And to watch them roll their eyes and clown and wink, and I mean,
that Trump seems much more natural to me than the one that showed up with a Bible outside the White House at the Black Lives Matter protest. You know what I'm saying? That seems like his exact relationship to Jesus Christ.
Oh, for sure. I also like Cece's comment here. They had to sit there and eat it. That's the other thing. Donald Trump's not used to being held accountable. He's not used to being checked. He had to sit there and hear somebody talk to him about the immigrant, talk to somebody about LGBTQIA, hear somebody talk to him about working class people. And he couldn't do anything but just sit there with no recourse. Good for him. He needs more of that.
Yeah, 100%. If we have to sit captive audience watching, Tubby McBillionaire throw up his arms, then yeah, I would like Donald Trump to sit through as many sermons about the stranger and about immigrants and about the people who make his country go round. I would love that. That would make me happy, if for no other reason than spite and pettiness.
Hey, I'm here for both of those. It's also, I want to say, powerful that the bishop did that. It's easy to talk that shit. I mean, I come here on night school and talk about everybody. But when you got the person in front of you, you got the most powerful person in the world right there, and you're actually saying, yo, like, here's the issues. That is a very courageous thing. And again, she wasn't trying to be confrontational. She was trying to just get.
That is what you hear in a sermon. Right. Those are the teachings of, and I am a Christian, but I wouldn't say I'm the representative here. But I do want to say that's what I hear when I sit in church. Those are the types of teachings that are referential to the book that is, closely related to Jesus Christ. Like that sounds like what I'm supposed to hear. But right. I would imagine that's not a common occurrence in Donald Trump's life to have to sit and think about others that aren't him, which is why it's comical to watch him parade himself around with those millionaire pastors and stuff, and pretend that they all like thumbs up him because they have a private plane too, and hopefully they can plane swap or whatever weird stuff those rich people do. I don't know, but it's just gross, incredibly gross.
But again, shout out to Marianne, Bishop Marianne there for holding it down. We appreciate you. We appreciate the work you did, speaking the truth to power. That is what the prophetic tradition is all about.